7. Please rise to pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We don't have enough for a quorum. There's no public comment. So we can move right into staff reports.
Sure. So just the second page you have here is starting off with our winter program statistics to kind of give a snapshot each month of where we're at in our programming since the previous meeting. Our Wildlands Conservancy collaboration for programs continues to go well. The animal footprint tracking workshop on the 18th had 29 participants, which was full. Our snowshoeing and hot cocoa day on the 15th of February had 13, which is also a higher number for this time of year. So we're really excited about where that collaboration continues to go. Our Winter Gnome Art Workshop on the 30th had 11 people in it. Currently, there's one person signed up for the No-So Blanket Art Workshop next week. So we'll hope to continue to push out and push for registration for that program to continue. Our Little Athletes and Mighty Kicks winter soccer classes have almost all maxed out, which is exciting news for those programs. We actually had to add a item for Mighty Kicks to add a second class for 5 to 7-year-olds due to demand. Our spring Zumba session, so we talked about previously how Zumba was sold out before. We added a spring session, which is at 41 out of 45 participants. So we continue to grow in that aspect. And lastly, just dropping adult volleyball and basketball. We're seeing roughly around 20 participants in the winter, which is still higher than last year's numbers. Has dipped off a little bit in the colder weather, but still well attended. Just as some general updates, we continue to give out and I might be going out of order, so I'll hold off on those. So I'll skip that. Winterfest debrief is the next. Sorry. Our Winterfest debrief is we had the Winterfest second annual on February 8th, and it was a well-attended event for the weather forecast we had. Everyone here at Upper McCudgee lucked out last year. It was in the 50s and 60s for the first annual. This year, a little bit colder, 20s to 30s, with a threat of snow and sleet. But the weather forecast held off, so sleet did not hit until we were wrapping up and packing up the event. We heard a lot of positive feedback. We're guesstimating about 1,000 participants at that event. Had interactive games, food trucks. We had some adult beverage vendors, musical entertainment, a fire twirler, live reindeer, live carriage rides going around the park, a lot of inflatables for kids, face painting until the water froze and we couldn't paint faces anymore. A lot of fire pits for s'mores. I think we cleared the shelves at Giant of chocolate bars and we're done with s'mores in about a half hour based on attendance. The staging and musical entertainment was a great addition that we had. So we did not do a drone show as we did in the first year, but we think we added other elements that were more enjoyable and more bang for our buck in the budget we had for the event. The other aspect that was a lot of fun for those Eagle fans that are out there is we had a live ice carving demonstration go on during the event that carved a Eagle and Lombardi trophy for good luck for those Eagle fans for the following day.
Yeah, go Birds.
The Upper McCudgee Township Community Fund was also on site in addition to some of our vendors and sponsors. And that group painted over 100 rocks for the community rock garden to move forward into the community center when it comes online.
Awesome.
The board had heard any other feedback about the event, good, bad, indifferent. We'd love to hear about it just because we always want to look to improve these events. I think it's one that in 2026 we'll continue to do for that time frame.
Raj, you were there. Any feedback?
It's not a monetary cost that we have to pay. So our goal this year that we budgeted projection wise was about $15,000. So we're in pretty good shape and we're going to continue.
Awesome. New event opportunities.
New event opportunity that we're going to do an initial announcement, and in case everyone knows someone in this industry, send them our way, have them call us, email us. We were aware of an event that is not going to be functioning this year due to construction elsewhere. So a couple of our food vendors had reached out to us to see if we could hold a food truck Thursday night at Grange Park throughout the summer and fall. It was what was the South Mall Food Truck Festival, but due to construction, they're not holding it this year. A couple of the vendors had reached out to us and said, would we be willing to host it? And we're looking to do so. We're finalizing how that registration process comes about. There's obviously going to be a truck registration fee. We're going to want solid commitments because it's something that would run mid-May through end of September, same straight concept that festival was. We understand, it's a trial for us to say, okay, it works. Let's try to do it in the future. But we also recognize that they potentially will be going back to the South Mall in 2026 or further down the road. So with all the activity at Grange Park, we're looking at the spacing near Pavilion number 2, near the splash pad area, the interior parking area that we mapped out that we can fit a good number of trucks, not be an impact on parking for the other activities that are going on, but also marketing it to the other activities that are going on. So if you're there for flag football on a Thursday night, don't worry about dinner. Just head up on one of the food trucks and enjoy the night.
Great.
So are we planning like these food trucks every Thursday night till like whole summer? Or?
That is the goal. Is we're building out the registration. Our understanding of what their process was is they would get trucks committed for each Thursday through the entire series. Some would do maybe every other. So we want to get some commitments first that, yes, we're ready to do this. And we have about 10 right now. So as soon as we roll that registration out, we'll see which ones have signed up for each week.
The goal is to get at least one truck.
My goal is 20, but
Yeah.
I think we're going to,
They have pretty many.
they've usually had about 40 to 50 for their area.
Every Thursday?
Yeah.
At South Mall. At South Mall.
Okay.
So I think this is a lot of vendors that were looking for that reoccurring business opportunity, and we have the ability to do that. And with the traffic on Grange Road, the visibility, our marketing efforts, I think we have a good event that's going to happen all throughout the summer.
So you're saying we should move our May meeting to Grange Park and not have it here?
If
It's on Thursday.
we can figure out the camera and microphones, you want to have your Thursday May meeting at Grange? Absolutely.
Did they have like groups playing there too?
We are working on an element of potential musical acts or something
I
of
think
that
they did
nature.
that periodically.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
We got the South Ball one before?
I haven't gone to it, but I remember seeing like when people talking about it. I mean, it's a great way to get people out in the community.
And we talked through the logistics with Public Works as well, that there's not much on us as a staff
Right.
to accomplish. A lot of the responsibility falls back. Food trucks bring their own trash containers. They're responsible for bussing out, policing their own area, taking their trash out with them. Things like cooking oil, they're responsible for proper disposal of, not just leave on the corner for us to pick up, which they're used to from these types of events.
Right.
It's also something that, from a revenue standpoint wise, and a price point to be a truck to register, that we hadn't planned on for 2025. That's a bonus.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So my next question is, suppose I own a food truck and I register for Thursday event. Can I swing by in the park on Wednesdays?
Right now, it's just for those events, and that's what we're making clear. As far as food truck ordinances and mobile vending, that is kind of, as Jeff had mentioned, about all these other things coming together that the township's working on. That is something we have an eye towards, kind of a temporary use as mobile vending that we don't have now, that we're looking to more formalize in the future.
Okay. Sounds exciting.
It's a good thing. I like it. We don't have to cook on Thursday.
And I will say a couple of the trucks that did reach out are ones that have already become sponsors with the township for the year. So that's been an exciting opportunity.
Awesome. All right, new rental program.
So as far as this one, I had it on the staff report. And I apologize. My mind is drawing a blank on why I put it on there. So I don't know
All right.
why I had. So I apologize
Well,
for that.
all right. Since what we'll do is we'll go back to the beginning, do
Sure.
approval of minutes and public comments.
Sure.
And then I guess we come back. If not, we'll skip the old business. All right. And I guess did everyone have a chance to remove or review last month's meeting minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. I make a motion to approve last month's meeting minutes.
I second that.
Raj seconds. Any objections? There's no objections. Then we accept last month's meeting minutes. Public comment? Are you guys just here for the audience, or do you have to speak about something, or?
We're here to express our desire to have more tennis courts in Upper McKenzie Township.
Okay. Come to the podium and state your name and whereabouts you live.
Hi, Ann Wolf. I live at 1838 Pear Court, Noblesville. And quite often we try to use the tennis courts on Apple Road, which is, we call them the skeleton courts because the skeletons are across the
Yeah.
street. And we have noticed, and I've lived there on Pear Court since 2001. So over the years, we noticed that these houses that are being built behind the Fogelsville Hotel, that used to be kind of our private tennis court, you know, because we never had problems getting a court. And now over this past entire spring and summer season, quite often we can go there and the court's already taken, which is okay. Then we would try to go to another court, and that would be at, I think it's Blue Lawn Road, but you
Yes.
find the, I guess that nursing home.
Yep.
And there's only 3 courts there, and they are heavily used. And I think once we tried to go to
Ricky Ridge?
Green Hills, I think there's a,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Green Hills area, but those 2 courts were being used too. So we noticed like all the pickleball courts, and the pickleball courts are great on Green Park too. I think there's like 10 or 12 of them with lights, etc. I guess we don't see any development or growth for tennis courts in Upper McKenzie Township.
Gotcha. Is it just you and your husband that play, or is it a group
Yeah.
of you guys, or?
Yeah.
We play with the group that
Yeah.
plays there.
Have you been to Blue Barn Road?
Yeah,
Blue
that's
Barn
what
Road, yes,
Yes.
it's Blue Barn Road.
And just with the amount of development that has come into the area, you know, pickleball's hot. We play pickleball too, but it's almost impossible to play tennis anywhere nowadays. So
Gotcha.
we're just hoping that maybe someday there would be some room for I'm a little surprised that they didn't do at least a couple of the pickleball courts to do both. You can always play pickleball on a tennis court,
Right.
but you know, you guys built those and they're beautiful to play there. That's fantastic. But what we've got to play tennis on is mostly pretty ratty and always full.
At
Gotcha.
least the one by Skeleton
The Skeleton
Court,
Court,
yeah,
sure.
there's like cracks in it, and we called already to get weeds.
And we're always
like,
pulling
now,
weeds and
so-
trying to take care of it. We used to be like the only ones that would play,
All
but
right.
now with the development, there's like all kinds of people on and there's a lot of people that are moving in that
Also
are
play
playing
tennis.
tennis.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're just requesting if there could be more.
No, I mean, it's always something that we could look
Whatever
into.
you guys can do.
Yeah, there was just a huge demand for pickleball, and pickleball
Right,
just
oh, it's
exploded,
huge,
and
yes,
that's kind of
it is.
how we end up where
Yeah.
we're at now.
And we play both, right? If you do one, you usually, if you're in any kind of shape, you do both. So
Gotcha.
that's all.
Okay. Do we have a way to
Thank you for your-
update them?
Yeah,
Or?
thank you.
So I do remember Ann called me a couple of weeks ago. We had this conversation about tennis courts, so I made sure to pass along the comments and information to the Park Rec Open Space Plan consultants to include in feedback, and also to make it aware as we're looking through that whole plan, looking at facilities, amenities, things like that. So, yep, we definitely heard a lot of the same concerns, and so we'll.
Not that we're tennis snobs.
No. So no, definitely,
We're just recreational players.
Yep, and we'll definitely keep that in mind.
That's great. Thank you.
Yep. No. Thank you for letting us know.
Should I just get your last name? Is it WOLF?
Wolf, WOLFE,
E. Okay.
and then ANN.
Thank you. I'm sorry, you were to say something else.
Pardon?
Were you gonna say something else?
No. Are we allowed to leave now?
Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you guys for
Thank you.
coming.
Yep.
Thank
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. New rental program or just good old business?
The rental, I draw a blank on why I put it on there, so I do apologize.
All right, no problem. Moving on to old business. Winter bathroom updates.
Yep. So it's something the board has brought to us before. It's something we're keeping in the forefront of our mind as one of the things, reasons why people do not visit our parks in the winter months. We are looking at a variety of options. Some of the servicing, for example, a porta potty option, you got to look at cost analysis of it and number we put out versus number we don't. The amount it gets serviced due to, we talk about water for face painters, similar concept with portable restrooms. There's also the overall challenge of year-round restrooms, access, locks. So it is something we are aware of. It's something that's been brought to us and we're not forgetting about it. And we're going to continue to look and find the best possible solutions we can for our park users.
Gotcha. Okay. I think last time we spoke about the Lehigh Valley Cricket Club. Did you have a chance to meet with them?
Yep. So we actually met with them at 4:30 today. Bob, township manager, Scott Faust, our director of public works, and Emily and myself with Raj, Dr. Singh, and two other representatives of the Lehigh Valley Cricket Club. Very productive meeting. We had a chance to really understand more of the game of cricket and facility needs, scheduling needs, things like that. So we talked through some ideas, and the staff, myself and Emily, we're going to go back and take a look at schedules. We're going to work with our engineering team to kind of get a couple better visuals of possible site locations and how it fits into the sizing and come up with a game plan to move forward. So I would say we had a very productive sit down today and understand the needs and priorities and where they can go from there.
Gotcha. Did you happen to drill down to a location yet or no? Too soon?
We got some potential locations and even multiple options within the same location. The challenge is really understanding the true size of what a cricket court is compared to, say, a regular baseball field or a youth soccer field. It is a little larger, so got to be a little creative. But I think there were some opportunities within Grange Park to facilitate this. I think there's some other areas that would have to get a little creative, but backup plans as well. So we're going to explore all those options. And I got to say, the Lehigh Valley Cricket Club was very helpful in their explanation of the game, the rationale behind different surface type structures, say turf versus grass or macadam versus clay. And it was really, really educational for us to understand the game a little bit better.
Gotcha. So cricket, unlike other sports, that field cannot be multi-purpose?
We talked about that a lot. I think there are ways it can be, which was a good conversation.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a productive meeting. I was there in the meeting. Yeah, this option. Thank you. Thanks, Ryan.
No problem.
Okay. Anything else? SPYA ball wall project.
Yep. So this was the presentation you had last month about constructing the kind of kickback wall for the various sports, lacrosse, field hockey, soccer. We've met with them after your recommendation to move forward to the Board of Supervisors, which is in process. But we met with them to go through the permitting side of things to make sure that applications, stamp drawings, the requirements that need to be met to construct a project like this are getting done. We're in that process right now. So that project is moving forward in those stages. So
I remember April sent some of the ideas in the email about that wall.
Yeah, so just examples of what murals can look like.
Some of those.
Oh, you know what? I don't think you were on this.
I think just to make sure those walls are not just an eyesore for us to have it. So probably I'll forward you. I think she didn't include you guys. Did he forward you?
no, but I think Matthew's making it
Yeah.
right now. So we could. it's definitely something we want to make sure understand that, what responsibilities are. This is a collaboration, right? This is not the township building this wall. It's not the township paying for this wall. SBA is spearheading this. We want to make sure it's done right, done correctly, done the specifications. So, years to come, it's there for everyone to enjoy. And we've also stressed that, just like anything else, once it goes up, it's if I want to go kick a ball off the wall, I'm going to have the ability to do so. And Jim wants to, he's going to be able to do so. So I think it's going to be a good addition to the park. It really also helps out with having some of the skills and drills off of fields when they can't be there, and really help out for everyone. So just want to give you an update on where they're at in that progress.
Awesome. And then they don't have an ETA yet, though.
As far as a shovel in the ground, no, because we got to make sure we get through the proper approvals.
Gotcha. Okay. New business, Ricky Ridge. So it's called Ricky Park, but it also says Ricky Ridge.
I think one of the roads that dead ends into the park is Ricky Ridge Road. I'm not 100% positive.
Yeah.
I just know my kid has a couple birthday parties for classmates at Ricky Park since I've gotten this job. But Matthew, you mentioned you wanted this on the agenda, so to hear.
So I had a conversation with a township resident who also represents the original Ricky Park developer, Jandal Land Company. The resident expressed some concerns about the park. He gathered some feedback from neighbors regarding suggestions for improvement and mentioned that Jandal Land Company might potentially participate in the improvements. As far as improvements, I guess one thing they noted was that the routes are starting to lift some of the walking trails. Unfortunately, it was too cold for me to go out there and actually verify it, so I can't narrow it down. The baseball field usage, does that get used? I guess when anybody drives by, they see it empty.
It does. I actually met with SPOA's baseball coordinator to have a discussion about baseball fields. He had expressed some comments at the last board meeting that I attended back in November. So snow delayed us to get that on-site meeting, but he did talk about which groups from SPOA do use it for their baseball seasons.
Gotcha. The other thing was upgraded signage, which I told him that is in the works for all the parks as a whole. But do we have a date or an update for that?
We don't have a total date for that, but we're open to talking to residents, or if individuals are interested in helping us with that, we can have a discussion.
Do we have a due date for because we were going to do them all at once, right? Or is that?
It gets a little pricey, so it's more of a phased aspect.
Okay. My apologies.
It's
okay.
Yeah. Some of the price tags to do this correctly are a little higher.
Gotcha. Two of the other things were more tree planting and rain garden expansion. I believe there's one there now.
There is a rain garden there. I do not know. Don't quote me on all the specifics of how it came to fruition. I know there were a couple of elements involved. I think there were some grants and other community members that brought that online. But I do know those two items in particular, when we've done on-site visits with our consultant team, those ideas have popped up as well. So,
okay,
not the only one to mention them. So we've heard that.
Gotcha. And I guess some suggestions that they had that they would like to see. So obviously there's that big neighborhood that's right next to Ricky Park. And when you look at the park on a map, there's like a big open field that's not a field. I mean, it's just grass, an open area. So they were wondering what could be done, maybe about a dog park, pickleball court, which now we just found out that I know I see why people are at the tennis court.
There
and
are
then,
2 tennis courts there.
There are.
yeah,
They're in rough shape, but
Are they?
yeah.
Okay.
well, tennis can go on pickleball can't go on tennis. Is that the way it works?
Right.
Tennis is bigger, pickleball is smaller.
Opposite, right?
Pickleball.
Or what did you say? I thought you said the opposite.
Pickleball can be done on tennis.
Yeah.
Tennis cannot be done on
The
pickleball.
only bad thing is the tennis net is higher than the pickleball.
Right. Yeah.
So you can play pickleball on a tennis court. We've gone to Blue Barn and done that, but then we have the tennis net
Higher
is
than usual.
higher
Yeah.
than what the pickleball one is.
Okay. Gotcha.
Which, I mean, you know, it's recreational. You're not like professionals when you go in there. Well,
Most of us.
I've heard stories.
yeah, I know. People think they are.
So he's saying more courts, not court restoration.
Yeah, because they said pickleball because he was like, yeah, we're looking to do stuff at the park, and I was just like, well, if you talk to your neighbors and get me a list of what they're looking for, and bring it up. And then the other thing that Ryan would like, since he wants to use all the parks, they were requesting if they could do a movie night in the park at that park.
I already got a book.
We already have one.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, that guy's gonna be happy.
And again, like we talked about with Lehigh Valley Cricket Club, and with tennis courts, our staff's open to sitting down and talking and having these discussions. So I'd encourage anyone who does have an idea or concept, email, phone call. But yes, we definitely made sure the movie in the park program is not in one spot this year. It is moving around, and we did mention Ricky Park to have one because of the open space in the outfield of the baseball field. It
Right.
gives us opportunity to do different activities, different interactive engagement. We're not probably rolling a food truck down the path and in the middle of the field, but ability to make it a whole night out for the entire neighborhood.
Gotcha. That works. Now the sidewalks that lead to the park, and I've seen this in the township as well, especially going from where I live. If I want to walk from my house all the way to Grange, I can with sidewalks, but the sidewalks are in terrible shape because of the tree roots. Is that something that comes up in this meeting, or is that a township issue, or is that a homeowner issue? Is that an easeway?
And are we talking, which roadway are we talking about?
So there's sidewalks that are like right in front of the park, not in front of the park, but there's homes that surround it. So there's sidewalks around there.
Okay.
And then I've seen it too. Like even in my direct neighborhood does not have sidewalks, but if I walk across the Shawns and then to the back of Lone Lane, tree roots get in the way, and I don't know who. So it's not in the park itself.
Gotcha. On Clouser or on?
What is that? Oh, there we go. Meadow Drive, I think it is.
Okay.
Up other way.
This way.
Up other way.
Oh, I see.
There
I
we
gotcha.
go. So, and I know we're doing the walkability study, so I don't know if that even comes up here, or if that's a township, like a board of supervisors issue, or a zoning issue, or a homeowner issue, or
Let us find out an answer on that one.
Okay.
I do not know.
yeah, do I? All right. Hey, there's the tennis courts.
Yep.
And then you can see how there's a big open field, but really nothing in it.
Are we talking below?
Not
or-
not,
Here too.
not the basin.
Okay. And we're talking between the baseball field and the pathway closest to the parking lot?
You have there, and then you have the triangle, I guess.
Okay.
What's left of that? Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah, that's Ricky Park. Okay, and that's all that I had. And any more public comment? Nope. And that's about it. I'm going to make a motion to end the meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I
One.
second. I second. All right, meeting adjourned.
Second.
Never mind.